Not going to hear it, you're not going to see it, because it takes digging. And the person who did that digging on the part of the Washington Times is Cheryl Chumley. She joins us now from Northern Virginia. She's the author of Devil in D.C., Winning Back the Country from the Beast in Washington. Wow. All right. Did I leave anything important out, or did I misstate anything, Cheryl?
You did leave out a bit of information that I just learned today. You mentioned Color of Change, that nonprofit organization.
Right.
Well, that nonprofit just popped up in my email box yesterday as one of about 30 nonprofit organizations, social justice organizations, that just cut a digital ad campaign with John Legend, the actor slash singer. And their ad campaign was aimed at Stop Brett Kavanaugh's nomination hearing. So when I went to Center for Responsive Politics and looked up the donations to Color of Change, I find out that in 2016, George Soros donated $250,000 in October, and then another week later, another $150,000. And in 2018, once again, George Soros donated $50,000. And adding to that, in May of this year, or perhaps it was January of this year, George Soros' son, Jonathan Soros, donated $5,000 to that group. So the dark money is deep, very tied to Soros.
Right. And that group, as I mentioned, directly attacked me. All right. And the George Soros donation, I believe, funded that attack. And that group actually showed up in person in front of the Fox News Channel headquarters. So this dark money, we hear about the dark web, all this dark business. This looks like a subversion of our democracy to me, because nobody knows anything about it unless they're like you, journalists who are trained in digging out information. This isn't public knowledge, is it?
It's very, very difficult to determine where the dark money sources are. There's an interesting breaking news item. I believe it's going to be first right here, Bill. But what happened was this week there was a Supreme Court decision. The Supreme Court turned away a lawsuit against the FEC to mandate that dark money be brought to the sunshine, brought to the light of day. And what that means is now the lower court standing stays, and the FEC may in fact have to start enforcing stricter regulations on dark money. So beginning this week, we could have some sunlight on these dark money sources.
Well, I don't think you're going to see major articles on it in the liberal newspapers. I don't believe that the Associated Press is going to pick it up, because they know about it. Everybody knows about it. Soros has been around for a long, long time. Now, I wonder if Judge Cavanaugh is shocked. He must be stunned. I mean, and the pain, as I mentioned, to his family is immeasurable. But from the very beginning, the left didn't want him, primarily because of the abortion issue, and, you know, he's not deemed to be friendly to progressive causes. Yet, the ratcheting up, and now the unbelievable personal attack against his character by the doctor out in California, takes it to a level where I believe there might be a backlash if it's shown, if the doctor doesn't show up to testify on Monday and Kavanaugh does get confirmed. I think Americans might say, enough of the accusation society we have now, enough of this. Do you get that feeling?
I definitely get that feeling. And part of the reason why is because I think the left overplayed its hand on this one. There is very, very flimsy evidence, and you have to put evidence in quotation marks here, that show Cavanaugh did anything untoward way back in high school. And the rhetoric has gone beyond over the top. And at the same time, just a few weeks ago, you had the accuser of Keith Ellison being outright ignored by the Democratic Party. So these two things happening in so close a time frame together, the media cycles were still covering Keith Ellison when Brett Kavanaugh's accuser came along. So the American people will remember this. There will be some backlash.
Now, last night on CNN, Chris Cuomo said to his audience, the presumption of innocence is only a legal term to be applied in a courtroom. It doesn't have to be applied to the court of public opinion. As a historian, I know the founding fathers set this country up to be a just society. without the presumption of innocence, and surely those Hollywood people we just saw in the clip that we just showed did not give Judge Kavanaugh a presumption of innocence at all. If that disappears from our society, how do you see America changing?
No, it would crumble. I mean, due process is dead right now based on what's going on with Brett Kavanaugh. It's ridiculous. And for Chris Cuomo to come out and say that is just the height of irresponsibility as a journalist. And I would dare suggest that should Chris Cuomo ever be in a position where he is accused of something, he would love to have his due process honored.
Sure, because there isn't anybody, any man right now, and this can extend to women as well, in a position of power and wealth who can be protected. Because any accusation is page one headline. The bigger the name, the bigger the headline. And they, again, as I said, you, others like you, thank God, me, we search for the truth. We want to find out what actually happened. I want to find out if Judge Kavanaugh did anything wrong. I don't think it matters that much. I think as a teenager, people do things, but I don't want a Supreme Court justice lying about anything. If he did it, own up to it, okay? I want to know the truth. But as you said, there's no evidence at all. There's none. There's an accusation driven by far-left people like Deborah Katz coming out of Dianne Feinstein's office. She obviously, without any doubt, sat on the information to create chaos at the last minute on the confirmation. There's no doubt she did that, okay? And now I'm looking around watching the progressive left on television say, you know what? Kavanaugh's guilty. Schiff, that congressman, he's guilty. Schiff convicted him. I mean, it's just an outrage on what's happening here. And I'm hoping you're right and I'm right that the backlash from the American people will at least slow this accusation industry down. Last word.
I'm going to say something shocking, and it goes like this. Just because a woman makes an accusation of sexual harassment, sexual abuse, what have you, does not mean it's true. There still has to be due process and a vetting and an investigation.
All right, Cheryl, we really appreciate your fine work. Go to thewashingtontimes.com. Look at Cheryl's body of work. You can just access her articles and her book again, Devil in D.C., Winning Back the Country from the Beast in Washington. Very nice of you to help me, Cheryl. Thank you.